You can make a difference. By becoming a supporter of our channel, you not only help us thrive, but also become an active part of our community. The link to join us is in the description. I lived through a tragedy that deeply unbalanced me. It happened in our family on December 30th, 2008. My 15-year-old niece, who was under my care, took her own life. I see two aspects. One positive, which is Jesus in my heart, absolves me of the guilt I carry. But there's also a negative aspect that often prevails, which is the result of my illness, which affirms to me that the blame for her death is mine. I feel the desire to go to the same building where she judged herself and repeat the same insanity. But thanks to Jesus and the work the Lord has done in my life, I lack the courage to displease God, and I do not want to sadden him with this lack of faith. So that the Lord may better understand my feeling of guilt, I will speak to you affectionately and briefly about my niece, Tatiana. She speaks of the girl, that she was a very special, very sweet girl, and that unfortunately, she fell into this absurdity of wanting to die, right? And she is experiencing a terrible aggravation, which is she is accused in the police investigation by her boyfriend, by Tatiana's boyfriend, of being the one to blame because of the curfew she imposed on their relationship. The boy claims that the girl was unhappy with this. The judge closed the case as there was no concrete evidence against the mentioned aunt, who is me. Father, the feeling I have is that Tatiana's whole life was pushed into an abyss, and I gave the final push. That's what kills me every day. My daughter, do not allow this to happen. We cannot enter the heart of the one who has passed away, and we cannot know the reasons. One thing is certain, it's foolish to think that your niece would kill herself because you set curfews for her relationship. No, unfortunately, my daughter, our young people are arriving. You yourself were saying that she ended up in your hands precisely because of a difficult story that this girl already had. A child is like a house. If the foundation isn't good, it won't stand for long. That's how it is. You took this girl at a certain moment in life when you could no longer interfere with her foundations. It is very difficult for us to provide a life structure to someone who arrives completely unstructured. I'm not saying it's impossible. It is possible to help provide structure to someone who has never had it, but it will be much harder. And here, my friends, I extrapolate the conversation to speak to those of you who have children. Be careful. Be careful with what you are offering this child. Be careful with the home you're putting under this child's feet. All that you offer today will be decisive for the future. As a young person, as an adult, as an elderly person, we become who we are not by chance, but as the result of all the influences we receive. We are born and already start receiving these influences. And we need to fight hard for our home to be a place where people can truly be prepared. Human beings need to be prepared. We can't handle life just any way. We need structure. And to love is precisely to lend this structure. It is to grant the other the possibility of growing, of not wanting to die, right? Because suicide is slow, no one jumps from 1 hour to the next. The reasons gradually undermine our hearts. I remember the story of a young man in Taubaté, already in the last year of medical school, who was found dead, hanging from a rope. Imagine, a guy with his future ahead in the last year of medical school suddenly appears hanging there months before graduation. That rope isn't tied overnight. That rope is tied gradually. And if we don't take care, we also tie a rope around our neck. Living is the experience of condemning or saving. Living is the experience of accepting condemnation or accepting salvation. It passes all the time through the path of others, but it also passes through ours. Today we experience situations that condemned us or saved us. It's like adding or removing a segment of rope. Everything depends on the choice, on the selection we make. Life needs to be sifted, just like the prospector does. He takes that pile of dirt in a sieve and sifts it slowly until he sees if there's a precious stone or not. If there isn't, he throws everything away and starts over. The end of our day should always be a prospecting experience. Look at the sieve of the day. Look at everything that happened, everything you heard, everything you experienced, all the situations you faced, everything that fell before your eyes, everything you saw, everything you heard, and only keep what is precious. We waste a lot of time keeping junk. Throw it away. Don't take to your bed. Don't take to your sleep what was the rubbish of the day. Otherwise, it becomes a noose around your neck. It's amazing how much we slowly kill ourselves when we don't sift out what truly wasn't worth it. Now, if we insist on keeping everything that's worthless, then we truly tie knots in our rope around our neck. And suddenly, when you least expect it, you're ready to die. It's lamentable, but it's true. The wrong choices we make in life represent a rope we're tying around our own necks. I'm seeing with great happiness the recovery of a nephew of mine, whom I love very much, Conrado, a boy who for a long time, a handsome, intelligent, smart boy, chose to tie the rope around his neck. And today, thanks to God, because of eyes that see salvifically, of people who are lending him a new meaning to life, Conrado is having the beautiful experience of judging the segments of rope around his neck, recovering, rehabilitating himself, making peace with life. You can observe sometimes we get mad at life, and every time we're mad at life, we start creating the possibility of death. That's what happened to your niece, my daughter. Unfortunately, she grew up mad at life. There was a lack of structure, a lack of love, a lack of attention. The home was not what she needed. And at a certain point, any little weakness, any difficulty, she jumps. Why? Because she's not prepared. She suffered too much. She can't stand life's problems anymore, lacks preparation to stay standing. That's why it's so hard to recover a person. Because it's at that moment that the quality of our education, of our structure, comes into play. It's like when I had hepatitis. I remember a phrase from Dr. Antonio very well. I said, "Doctor, what now? What are we going to do?" He said, "Father, now, we don't have to do anything. You have hepatitis, and now we'll see what your body can do with the problem you have." Likewise, when Robin-Ho had cancer, I was so shaken by Robin-Ho's illness that I sought out all the resources I could to see if we could save that boy. And then a friend of mine, who is a doctor, told me very harshly, very bluntly. I said to him, "So, during this recovery period, we'll change his diet, do this, do that." He looked at me and said, "Look, Father, we think all of this will change things. It's true that giving him a better diet will help a little with his recovery, but don't be fooled. It's the past that will determine things now. Everything that this boy ate, everything he experienced with his health, will determine now whether he will recover or not. Yes, my friend, life is like this. One day it confronts us with the choices we made. And then, because I had the opportunity to get out of that horrible situation, which my hepatitis complicated too much, because I was using terrible medications at that time, highly hepatotoxic, right? Imagine I was taking an anti-inflammatory because I was already feeling joint pain, right? It was already a symptom of hepatitis, but I didn't know it. I thought I had arthritis, osteoarthritis, all that bunch of things. I was taking a highly hepatotoxic medication for over a month when suddenly I found out I had hepatitis. Imagine a liver that was already suffering from hepatitis, still suffering from the wear and tear of heavy anti-inflammatories. The fragility of the body is immense. It can't cope. I almost needed a transplant. So what's the fight? The fight is all about a health process that, thank God, I was going through lately. With discipline in eating, sleeping, working. I was living right, thank God. I got sick at a time when I was living right. And then my body reacted. That's how life is, my friends. Sooner or later, we will be held accountable for what we nurtured within ourselves. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey at Path of Faith. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, share it with your loved ones, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content like this.